I'm idling across this weed flat, looking on my flasher for a hard bottom ridge that's got some gravel mixed in it. The bass really gravitate towards that. Okay, now my signal's starting to turn red a little bit here, indicating a harder bottom, and the depth's coming up a foot or two. So that's my ridge where I'm going to find some bass. And that's the thing I like about flashers, is that it gives me a competitive advantage in tournament bass fishing, especially in the world of tournament fishing today. It's very competitive. So I'm looking for every little angle I can get that's going to put me ahead of the pack. And flashers is just one of those tools that can do that for me. I still like my graphs. They have their time and place too. But flashers have some things that they can do that graphs can't. So let me show you what those are. The first advantage that I like about flashers versus graphs is their shallow water performance. And by that I mean a graph and a flasher don't give you the same things in shallow water. A flasher will be able to read shallow water much better than a graph. A graph's signal that's displayed, typically it'll blend everything together so you can't tell. Are you in 2 foot? Are you in 3 foot? Some graphs even have problems differentiating the bottom in like 5 feet. So whereas this flasher, this FL10 here, it can read 1 foot, it can read 1.5 foot, it can read 2 feet. I got that reading, and this is really important in muddy water, muddy rivers, muddy reservoirs, just any situation where it's been muddied up. Oftentimes, in that situation, the bass are going to be shallow, so you're going to want to know, is it 1.5 feet, is it 2.5 feet, and so forth. And then also just idling around in those situations. You get up on these shallow, muddy flats, you can't see bottom. Are there stumps? I mean, if there's lots of stumps, you want to know these things. So it just comes in handy for just navigational purposes as well. All right, the second big advantage I like of flashers versus graphs is their ability to read through thick vegetation. Now, if you take a graph, for example, when you drive your graph over a weed bed, I mean, the screen will just like black out practically, and you can't tell where the weeds end, where the bottom is. It's just kind of one big blended scene, and you can't tell what's going on. A flasher, on the other hand, you can still read where the bottom is. You can read the tops of the weeds, and it just gives you a much better picture of what's going on, especially with the real-time ability of a flasher. You can see where the openings are in the weeds, where the pockets are, and you know, these are types of places where bass will seek out in the weed beds. And now, plus rocks, gravel, you can see different types of bottom types with a flasher. And a graph just can't do that. It's just one big blended mess, and you don't know what's going on. A flasher's a huge advantage in thick vegetation, and I wouldn't be without one. Another nice feature about flashers is that they're really simple to use. I mean, you turn it on, set your depth, set your gain, and you're good to go. With your gain, just don't set it too high. If it's too high, you'll just have signals all over the dial. And if it's too low, well, you may not even have a signal over soft bottom. There's full gain, little much of a signal. You can see there's some bait we're going over. And that's minimum gain, basically no signal. So what I want to do is find a signal in there that'll be kind of in between, something like that. Now if I happen to go over bait, it's going to pick it up, and we should be drifting into the weed line here, and I'll be able to show you what it looks like inside the weeds when I go to full gain. Now here you can see the leading edge is what you read on these signals. It's 12 feet, and the backside is what we call the tail. And the longer that tail, that indicates the softer the bottom. So long tail, soft bottom, short tail, hard bottom. Not only the color change of going to red to indicate hard bottom, but also that tail. Now you can see we've gone up in the milfoil, and if I turn it up to full gain, that's what you have. It's just pretty much a mess. You can still see the red there, consistently showing up in there. That's your bottom, but really up that high, it's just kind of a mess. So I like to turn it down from that. I still want to get kind of a red signal in my bottom reading, but I do turn it down. Something like that is what I'd probably put it on for inside the milfoil. All right, once you adjust your flasher to a gain setting that you're comfortable with, now don't touch it, because now we're going to use it to find gravel and rock bottoms from silt bottoms. Now you can see right now we're on a soft bottom with a lot of green flickering. That's the soft silty bottom. Now as the boat moves over this point, you'll notice they start getting more reds in there. And the red is the gravel and the rock that's on top of this point. There it is, and there it is. That's a good spot right there. Oftentimes I'll catch some fish there. All right, so there you have it. Those are the reasons why I love flashers and what they can do for me in my fishing. Whether it be the FL10, the FL8, or the FL18, they're great units that will make you a better bass fisherman. So learn a little bit about these units, give them a try, and for sure they'll help you be a lot better fisherman, especially in today's competitive bass tournament world. Man, I gotta have those advantages. So take care and good luck to you.